What's up? This is Manny Moonraker, and this is episode number 184. Now, I gotta take a trip back to yesterday's episode because, wow, So yesterday's episode was about moon rocks, right? And so I was looking for some images and to download for the episode image, and I accidentally downloaded the wrong one. And, I didn't really look at it. I just click here, insert by, let's go, record. Come on, app. Let's go, app. Turns out that what I downloaded might be a contraband. It turns out the moon rocks that were in the image were cannabis. There is a cannabis out there that's referred to as moon rocks. And they look like rocks, and they are on yesterday's episode. In case you missed it and you're interested in maybe acquiring moon rocks at one point or another. Now, for you, law enforcement types, no, I'm not selling moon rocks. No, those are not my moon rocks. I barely have pop rocks. But it is hilarious how many people identified what those were. They were like, hey, Moonraker, those are not space moon rocks. Those are the ones that get you high. Those are the ones that give you the good times. So yeah, if you were a bit confused about yesterday's image, that's the reason. No, I did not sneak into your house and take a picture of your moon rocks. These were moon rocks that were they were on Google search because the article itself didn't have a picture of the moon rocks. So I was like looking for fucking moon rocks. And I got cannabis instead. So there you go. I hope none of you got a contact high. Now, besides all of that, let's get into today's episode. Because really, it has to do with a lot of conspiracy craziness. Stuff that people talk about all the time. It seems to come up once or twice a year. But what can you do? You saw the actual article, the title of this particular episode. The article itself says, aliens built the pyramids, Soviet scientists shock Egypt claim to KGB revealed. Let's just get one thing out in the open. This is coming from the Express UK. So it's a clickbait situation. It's totally clickbaited. Because the scientist that they're referring to in this particular situation is Dr. Viktor Ivanovich, and he was a former science advisor to the Kremlin. Well, Mr. Ivanovich was actually part of a documentary that was called The Secret KGB Files. Now, some of you people who love, the Cold War and looking into that whole KGB nonsense and the U.S. and the spy stuff and get the U.K. involved in there. They throw 007 and shit. And this particular documentary is from 2001. They printed this fucking article in 2019 about what this guy said from a documentary from 2001. Somebody was sitting around watching Netflix late at night. That person probably works for the Express UK. They had nothing to write about, so they say, fuck it, let's just go with this. The documentary says, basically, that people cannot figure out still how in the hell did the ancient Egyptians build the pyramids. And here's some interesting facts. This is the only thing that I really like about this article, to be honest. The whole story is I don't know, just too far, just 4.2 far. I don't like it. But it has some nice facts. So according to this, until 1887, when the Eiffel Tower was put together, or the Awful Tower, depending on how you look at it, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world. There's some facts for you. Ancient Egyptians were ruling the skies with their pyramids. The other is that there are more than 2 million stones that were used in constructing the Great Pyramid. Well, I'm sorry. That would be Great Pyramid. All the pyramids together. What the fuck, 2 million stones? I like who wrote this shit. Anyway, the stones themselves weigh a little less than a ton. But it makes the pyramids 20 times heavier than the Empire State Building. Those are some fascinating facts. Ancient Egyptians were doing some crazy shit, and we still can't figure out how the fuck they did it. Should that surprise anyone? No. You can't see what the hell's in our own solar system with all the technology we have. How the fuck are we gonna figure out what ancient people had in their technology? Now, there's some theories in here regarding the pyramids and what they were. Some people say it was just a simple symbolic doorway to the afterlife for their pharaohs, their kings. Other people say it was just an astronomical observatory, something they used to, measure shit that's happening in the sky. Others say it was a geographical survey instrument so they can, measure the land, which, in a way that would make sense too because of how tall it was. But then there's the people who are just conspiracy theorists who are saying that maybe there's some kind of technology in here that we still don't understand. And there's a quote in here, by the way, this particular documentary was hosted and narrated by no other than Roger Moore. And this a quote here from what Roger Moore said in the documentary. Scholars had argued that the technology to construct massive pyramids might not have been available to people at the point in human history when these structures were built. Okay? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, how can you move that kind of shit with sticks? I don't know. It just makes no sense to me. Now, the thing is that Dr. Viktor Ivanovich said this. It makes perfect sense. Egypt would be an obvious choice for the aliens who had to establish an outpost for planetary expeditions. According to him, the pyramids were constructed at the exact center of the Earth. Also, the size of the pyramids can be seen from the moon. For these reasons, he decided to advise the KGB that the pyramids of Egypt were built for navigation by alien explorers. You almost have to stop and think about that for a second. I mean, could that be possible? Is it possible that these were built by ancient aliens? Now, for those of you who don't know, when I do these episodes, I actually do them live. And Zachariah is on right now, chatting live. And he says there just could be a Stargate. And again, it's kind of funny that he says that because just last week we talked about all those secret projects by the government that were being listed. And apparently a Stargate was one of them. How many of you believe that there's something more to the pyramids other than big-ass tombs? Like, listen, if I was a fucking king of somewhere, yeah, fuck, you're going to build me something bigger than the Eiffel Tower. If I was ruling millions of people, hell yeah, build me a pyramid. Stop fucking around. But the theory, God damn it all to hell. The theory is still there. The conspiracies are still there. People are still talking about ancient aliens like it's a real thing. Do you believe ancient aliens contributed to this situation? Were these really markers, kind of like the Nazca lines? Were these runways or markers from, for pilots from 4.2 far to know where the fuck they're going to land? Because hell, the pyramids look way different than the Nazca lines. So if you're going to Nazca, hang a right. If you're going to the pyramids, hit a left. But again, just like the Nazca line, the Nazca mummies and all that kind of shit, because it's ancient, nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. And like any other theory, we don't have nothing to substantiate either way. And this is the whole thing with ufology, ancient aliens, artifacts, things from 4.2 far ago. There's nothing but conspiracy theories, and that's all they are, because we can never find conclusive evidence of anything, and it continues. It's like it's a snowball, it just continues going on and on and on. And to have someone who is in a science profession, albeit it wasn't Russia, go up to the KGB and say that these are alien structures, holy fuck. What exactly were they thinking of doing? And just as a side note, I actually tried to look up this doctor, this Victor, and I came across someone with a similar name, but it wasn't him. The guy that I came up with was a defector who defected from the KGB back in the 80s, I believe. And he was actually, and that Victor, was actually involved in bringing the military to space, in creating, basically researching warfare in space so that you can shoot missiles from one spaceship to another. What kind of a fucking tie-in is this? How crazy is that? Is that a coincidence? This guy, this other Victor, had pretty much defected to the U.S. and was selling. Well, I don't know if he sold it or not. I'm sure they gave him a nice little pad to go and relax and have his family at. But he gave up all the KGB secrets, including a plan to murder the Pope, Pope John Paul II. What is going on here? What is going on? And I couldn't find out if this really was the same Viktor Ivanovich, because these stories from this particular documentary and his defection and when he decided to start talking to people were coincidentally around the same time, very close in nature. So I don't know if it's the same person or not, but holy shit, if you got that name, you got some shit to tell. If your name is Viktor Ivanovich, wow. You've got some. I mean, how many fucking Viktor Ivanoviches could be involved with the KGB? Could this be the same guy who was also researching space warfare way back when? It's fascinating. But, again, if you decide that you believe in this story about the pyramids being stargates, or, as Zechariah put it, or just burial places for the rich and wealthy. And there's another one that said that these pyramids were used to move grain along. I don't know what the hell they are. Nobody knows. And here's the thing, we probably will never know. We are so focused on getting the fuck off the planet, we don't even care anymore. So the conspiracy theories, they just continue. But I just don't know. All I know is that this is UFO Buster Radio, and you guys make up your mind about what you think about this particular story. And let me know. Hit me in a DM on social media. Don't forget to follow me, and don't forget to share and like. This has been the episode. I'm Manny Moonraker, and I'm heading out with a little bit of a hip-hop tune, because UFO Buster Radio, we give no fucks.